a good chunk of the Chinese population is now going overseas and decongesting Chinese cities, right? Now, on the other hand, there's a second way traffic returning to China, forex made from overseas. Now, for example, if you go to the CARICOM countries, what I call the CARICOM countries are the Caribbean, the Association of Caribbean, like you have ECOWAS, in the Caribbean, they call them CARICOM. That's an organization of many different countries in the Caribbean. Now, the Chinese have taken over Barbados, Jamaica, just name it, any country you mention right now in the Caribbean. The Chinese have flooded that place. But it's crazy in Jamaica. Jamaica is about to become the first colony, the first colonized country by the Chinese. All the major hotels in Jamaica are owned by the Chinese. All the major businesses, all the major stores are owned by the Chinese. So they are actually taking over the CARICOM countries. Now, the question is, how are they able to do that? It is by design, because the Chinese government, understanding the explosion, the population explosion they have, and the need to manage it, and if it's not properly managed, China will be over-congested, and it will lead to health problems. It will lead to, resource management problems. Of course, resources won't go around to the 1.4 billion people. So they encourage people to go out. And how do they incentivize people to go out and open businesses? By giving them funding to make that trip. So many Chinese companies are in the Caribbean. Many Chinese companies are in South Africa, in West African countries. Now, if you go to South Africa, there's so much Chinese presence in South Africa that the Chinese are now beginning to open their own Chinese police stations in South Africa. There's police stations that are Chinese police stations, wearing Chinese uniforms, doing police work in South Africa. Now, it's crazy. While there's something good to be learned from what China is doing, which is why I chose this topic today, I also want to call out South African government for doing something so crazy, something so stupid. I'm sorry to say that word, but it's really stupid. South Africa, a short 25, 30 years ago, they just gained independence just about 25, 30 years ago from the hands of Britain. How do you fall back right into the hands of the Chinese to a point where Chinese are setting up police stations that do police work in South Africa? And so what this means is that you do business with the Chinese. If they default, you can't really arrest them because their police are there to support them. And so they're doing all sorts of atrocities in some of these countries that they operate in, and nobody's able to raise a voice. But that's talk for another day. I'll discuss that on a different day. But the point is that the movement of Chinese all over the world globally is by design. The Chinese government chose that route to decongest Chinese cities, and it's working for them. While they're decongesting